Okay, now we're actually starting this. You are going to use these two things here for every problem until you get two new ones. Okay? What happens here is I'm using these two. You're going to have to turn to the back, okay, until I give you see two new ones at the top. So, you've never seen this before. It says f of x equals 2x plus 7. What f of x stands for, it's called the function of x. And this would be the function of g. Okay? Now here's what you do. You do two of them at a time. These two go together. So it says f plus g of x. Now the operation here is plus. Okay? So you put a plus sign and then you make a parentheses on each side. And then we put the f function first because that's what comes first. And then we put the g function second. Okay, then we simplify it using the 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's no exponents. There's no multiplication. So it's just collecting like terms. X is your highest, and then constant. 2 plus 4 is 6, and then 7 plus negative 7 is 0, so delete that. Now we just did f plus g of x. Now we find what f plus g of negative 2 is. All you simply do is replace the x with negative 2. So 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Okay, now the next one. This time we do the same thing, but now it's a minus. Minus and plus kind of work the same way. You set up f comes first, 2x plus 7. G comes second, 4x minus 7. Okay, there's no powers. There's no multiplication that I could see. No distribution. And then again, x is your highest, and then the constant. Okay, now you better make that minus a plus, and then the 4 goes negative, the 7 goes positive, and now I put together like terms. 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2, and then 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay. Okay, now you know f minus g of just x is this. Now f minus g of 3 means you just plug 3 in for x. So negative 2 times 3 plus 14. You can do that. I would use a calculator, okay, if you don't know it. I mean, it's not, that's negative 6 plus 14 is 8. Okay. Now, division, f divided by g of x. Division, don't do the 1, 2, 3. That's the only one you're not going to do the 1, 2, 3 for because it's dumb. You just make a dividing line. You put the f function and then a parentheses. And we put the f function on top and the g function on bottom. And then that's all you need to do. Okay? Don't cross anything out. Now, all you do is put negative 2 in for x. 2 times negative 2 plus 7. I'm guessing that's 3. So my numerator has 3. In the denominator, I take 4 times negative 2, which is negative 8. Subtract 7 from negative 8, you're at negative 15. Now, you can go with that. You can also reduce it to 1 over negative 5 because it divides by 3. Either answer I'm fine with. Okay, now the next one's a little bit confusing. You have a lot more workspace here. Now, a lot of people think that dot means multiplication. No, if it meant multiplication, it would be filled in. What it means is input. Okay, it stands for input. Okay, so here's what I do on an input. I write the first letters, what the f function first. Write that down, 2x plus 7. Then what you do is you remove the x from the expression and empty the parentheses. Remember the plus 7 behind it. And then you In for the x, you put the g function, which is 4x minus 7. Okay? Now, use your 1, 2, 3. There's no exponent. You got to distribute 2, multiply. Step 2 is for multiplying. 2 times 4x is 8x, and 2 times negative 7 is negative 14, and then plus 7. Now put like terms together. There's no second power, so it's just blank x plus blank. We have 8, and then negative 14 plus 7 is negative 7, and that's it. Okay, now to find what f input g of negative 3 is, you simply put negative 3 in for x. So 8 times negative 3 plus negative 7. Means 8 times negative 3 plus negative 7, and that's negative 31. Okay, this one's another input, but this time I start with the g function. So g is 4x minus 7. And then input means you replace the x variable, empty the parentheses, make your parentheses wider than I did just there. Okay. Needs to be somewhat wide. Remember to subtract 7 behind it. And then we put the f into the expression, so 2x plus 7. Okay, now after the parentheses been filled out, you set up your 1, 2, 3. There's no exponents. You do have to multiply 4 into the parentheses, giving you 8x plus 28, and then minus 7. And then we got 8. 28 minus 7 is 21, or 28 plus negative 7, whatever. Okay. Then we input 2. 8 times 2 plus 21. 37. Okay, now on the next one I get 2 new functions. The function of x is 2 times x plus 3. The function of g is 3 times x to the second power minus 4. Okay, so the first operation's a plus. Okay. So f is 2x plus 3, and g is 3x to the second power minus 4. Then a 1 and a 2 and a 3. After the parentheses are filled out, you're ready for this. You do have an exponent, but it belongs to just the x, so you don't have any multiplication. There's nothing I would multiply here. You don't do the rainbows, not with a plus sign. That's a times thing. Highest power is a 2, so blank x second plus blank x plus blank. X second has a 3. X, you just have a positive 2. And then for constants, you add 3 to negative 4, which is negative 1. Okay, then I simply replace the x's with 5s. So I have 3 and then 5 to the second plus 2 times 5. And then plus negative 1. Okay, so 84. I'm just going to put 84 right now. Okay, what operation do I have? Minus. So f is 2x plus 3. And g is 3x to the second minus 4. A 1, a 2, a 3. You do have an exponent, but it's just to the x. There is no multiplication. Now it's just adding like terms. But we need to make that plus, and that goes negative, and the 4 becomes positive. So x second, you got negative 3. For x, you got 2. And for constants, you have 3 plus 4, which is 7. Okay, then you put your negative 3 in for the x's. So negative 3, and then parentheses, negative 3 to the second power, plus 2, and then negative 3 again, no power, and then plus 7. I got negative 26. Okay, remember division's kind of special. It's not a 1, 2, 3. Just make a dividing line, put a parentheses on top, and the f function goes on top, and the function of g goes on bottom. Okay, I want to see that. Now I put 4 in. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11 on top. Then 3 times 4 to the second minus 4. For some of you looking to get better at mental math, 4 to the second, 16 times 3 is 48. Minus 4 is 44. Now you can leave your answer like that. You can divide these by 11. That'd be 1 over 4. Okay. Now, things will get dicey on the back side. Again, this does not mean you just write them out and multiply them. The empty circle stands for input. Okay? That's what that operation is. So first you have to set up the input. So I write the function of f first, 2x plus 3. Then the variable gets removed from the expression. And then we plus 3 behind. And then I replace, in the parentheses, I put 3x to the second power minus 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3. After the input's been filled out, you're ready. You have a power, but it's just to the x. So you got to multiply 2 in here. So that becomes 6x to the second plus negative 8 plus 3. Now collect like terms. X seconds your highest, followed by x, followed by constants. So I have 6x to the second. I don't have any regular x's, so I delete that from the problem. Keep the plus sign there, though. And then negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. So we have 6x to the second power plus negative 5. Now I put the 2 in for x. 19. Okay, g. Now you start with the g function. So turn back over. G is 3x to the second power minus 4. Now, again, you remove just the x. Now, here's what we do at the second. 3 parentheses, then that second goes here. And then minus 4. And then you fill that in with the f function. That's 2x plus 3. When you start with a second power, that means it's going to be a little bit longer. And you simplify it with the 1, the 2, and the 3. Now you have to do step 1 because the power belongs to more than just a variable here. It belongs to the entire parentheses. So we have to do step 1. We drop the 3. And make just one parentheses without the second power and then minus 4. Now to find out what goes in there, you need to go off to the side and duplicate that and FOIL it with your 1, 2. So I'll be taking 2x times 2x, squaring 2x, and then 2x times 3, 3 times 2x, and 3 times 3. So that's 4x to the second, 6x, 6x, and 9. Now I put together like terms. So I've got 4, 6 and 6 is 12, and then 9. And that is what you fill in your parentheses. Okay, now the powers just belongs to the x. Okay. I got to do step 2 because the 3 has to be distributed. So that's 12x to the second plus 36x, and then 3 times 9 is 27, and the minus 4. X seconds 12, and then 36 is x, 27 minus 4 is 23. That's it. Now we insert negative 4 into the expression. So I got 12, negative 4 to the second, plus 36, and then negative 4, and then plus 23. 71. Okay, next problem. Dang and I stapled this out of order. Okay, this here, you have to turn here, turn the page here, and then we're going back. Two new functions, 2x to the second plus 3 and 3x plus 1. So we have the addition operation. The addition's easy. Okay, fill those parentheses out with the f function before the addition sign, then the g before that. Okay, after the parentheses have been filled out, 1, 2, 3. The exponent belongs to just the x. You don't have any multiplication, so you just put like terms together, starting with x second, x, and then nothing. So x second, you got 2. X, you got 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 2x second plus 3x plus 4. Now you just found what f plus g of x is. Now you find f plus g of negative 2 simply by inserting negative 2 into the expression for x. Just like you would on the graphing parabolas. I got 6. Okay, now we have a minus operation. So the g is replaced with 3x plus 1. You got to put the g first because g is to be listed first, minus the f with its 2x squared plus 3. Now that the parentheses have been filled out, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the exponent belongs to just x. There's no multiplication I would need to do. Now list out your spaces. So x second, plus, and then negative, and 3 goes negative. So negative 2 is my x squared. X, remember, before you do this, make sure you have a plus sign so you're adding the binomials and not minusing them. X, you got 3. Then 1 and negative 3 makes negative 2. Now we insert the 3 into the expression. Negative 11, okay? Division, I don't use 1, 2, 3. I simply put the g function in the numerator because that's on the numerator. So 3x plus 1. Then the f function in the denominator, 2x squared plus 3. And there's really no simplifying of that you know of at this time. So now I put negative 1 in. I put them negative 1 in separately, okay? Because I'm going to come up with a numerator and a denominator. 3 times negative 1, that'd be negative 3. Then I add 1, it's negative 2. Okay, then I put negative 1. So 2 times negative 1 to the second, and then plus 3 gives me 5. That's really the only answer that works because I don't want a decimal and it doesn't reduce. Okay, now I go to the back side and I have my input. So you know what that means, okay? You write your f function down, 2x to the second power plus 2. Or plus 3, my bad. Now you need to replace the x, not the second power. That can't be replaced. Okay, just the x can. So 2 wide parentheses and the second power goes here and then plus 3. Now you fill that in with the g function, which on the back side of the paper is 3x plus 1. Now you're ready to simplify using your 1, 2, 3 process. Now you have a power that belongs to the entire parentheses, so you write 2, make another parentheses wider, and then leave the second power, and then add 3. Now to figure out what goes in there, you need to duplicate that, and then FOIL it with the 1, 2 procedure. So I take 3x to 3x, 3x multiplied by 1, 1 multiplied by 3x, and then 1 multiplied by 1. So it's 9x to the second, 3x, 3x, and 1. 9, 6, and 1. Then I bring that over here, 9x second plus 6x plus 1. So you have to do step 1. If that power belongs to more than just the x, you have to simplify. Okay, step 2, I do have a distribution to make with the 2. So it's going to be 18x to the second plus 12x plus 2 and then plus 3. Then the last step, you collect like terms by adding 18x second, x, you got 12, and then 2 plus 3 is 5, and that's simplified then. Okay, now you put 2 into the expression for every x variable that you see. You got 101. Okay. Okay, the next one's an input, but I start with the g. Okay. So my g is 3x plus 1. Now replace the x. It doesn't have an exponent, so 3 parentheses and then plus 1. So I don't need to put the little 2 out there. Then inside that, I fill that in with the g function, with the f function, excuse me, 2x second plus 3. Okay, after that has been filled, you simplify it with the 3-step process. Now, you have a power, but it belongs to just the x, so I don't need to worry about that like I did on the last one. Distribute 3, 6x second plus 9 plus 1. Then your like terms. You got 6 for x to the second. Don't have any x's, so just delete that. And then plus 10. Okay. Then I'll be putting negative 4 into the expression. 6, negative 4 to the second, plus 10, 106. Okay, now you have one of these to do on your own. The functions you're going to use are, no, never mind, you're not ready yet. Okay, I'll keep going. Okay, so we got the plus operation. So f is 3x minus 2, and then g is 2x to the second power plus 3. Now the parentheses have been filled. 1, 2, 3 to simplify it. The exponent's just to the x. There's nothing to distribute. Then step 3, collect like terms. So 2 is my x to the second coefficient. My x coefficient is 3. Then I add negative 2 plus 3, and that's 1. Okay, then I put 2 in there. So 2, and then 2 to the second, plus 3 times 2, plus 1, 15. So f plus g of 2 is 15. Okay, now the operation subtraction. Going to be done the same way as addition. I do have a fix I have to make. G needs to go first. So 2x to the second plus 3, and then f is 3x minus 2. So again, a 1, a 2, and a 3. The power's there, but it belongs to just x, so don't need to distribute, just collect like terms. After I make that plus, the 3 negative, the 2 positive. So x second, you got 2. X, you got negative 3. And then 3 plus 2 makes 5. Now I insert negative 1. Got 10. Okay, division's kind of its special thing. You don't really have to do much simplifying. It's anything else you do, but not on division. Okay. Okay, that's good enough. Now we plug negative 2 into the numerator. negative 8. I plug negative 2 into the expression in the denominator. Okay, that's about the only answer it's going to work. That can't be reduced. Okay, now I'm going to go to my input. So again, this means, again, that empty circle means input. F input g of x. So we start with our f, 3 times x minus 2. And then to do an input, you replace the variable. Remember, you got a couple things to put in there, so make it kind of wide, then subtract 2 behind it. Then I put the g in, 2x a second plus 3. And now I'm ready to simplify. Power belongs to just cx. You have to distribute 3. 3 times 2x is 6x a second. 3 times 3 is 9. And then minus 2. Okay. So x second, you got 6. You don't have any constants, so 9 minus 2 is 7. Okay. Okay, then I replace the x's with 2's. Okay, I get 31. Okay, g. 2x to the second power plus 3. Remember, you're allowed to replace the x, but not to the second power. The second power just goes outside the parentheses. It will belong to the whole parentheses, unfortunately for us. Okay. And then we put 3x minus 2. Okay, now I'm ready to simplify. Okay, we have a power, and it belongs to the entire parentheses. So we make 2 with just an empty parentheses without a power, and then plus 3. Now I need to duplicate that binomial. So 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2. We have to do step 1. So first I distribute 3x to 3x, 3x to negative 2, negative 2 to 3x, and then negative 2 to negative 2. So it's 9x squared, negative 6x, positive 4. These do not cancel. They'd have to be a positive and a negative to cancel. They never do when you duplicate a binomial. So it's 9x, negative 6, negative 12, and then 4. Okay, and that's what you fill in that parentheses. 9x squared plus negative 12x plus 4. Now you proceed. You got a distribution of 2. Okay, now like term collection. X second 18, x negative 24, then 11. Remember, except for the division, you get your parentheses filled out and follow the 1, 2, 3. Okay? If the second power is outside of an entire parentheses, you're going to have to duplicate it and do step 1. But if the power belongs to just a variable, you don't need to.